But that's us taking a deep dive and looking at our practices and our policies that may structurally disadvantage some of our families so that we can make the changes necessary to clear those barriers for our families. We are going to continue forging partnerships with our families in very different and unique ways, talking with families where they are, getting into homes, developing those relationships so that we have a much better understanding of the students that we serve day to day, rather than just doing what we've always done and letting the kids come to us and develop those relationships. We're going to go to them, and we're going to think differently about that. We're going to examine our practices in our classrooms to make sure that we're treating content and curriculum appropriately, which means that we have to look at, for example, how we teach colonialism in our elementary schools. Do we teach it in a way that's fair and honest and equitable and thoughtful to the communities of color that we are serving here in the City of Falls Church? We're going to unpack how we talk with kids and how we work with families to make sure that we have equitable treatment for all of the students we serve, to ensure that our families that feel on the margin, that have been put on the margin by the systems that are in place, feel connected to the work that we're doing. We're going to tear down, metaphorically and physically, old structures and old buildings, and we're going to build new. And why not now? Because it's the right place, and it's the right time, and it's for the right reason. And this is the work that I really feel like I'm excited about and energized about, and hope you will be too. Because we need to continue building our caring community and climate. You saw the video that worked with the Family Resource Center, that worked with Richard Kane, that worked with their social workers, that worked with Jen Santiago, that came together for one family. And I have to tell you, we're a small school division. Everybody here knows that. We have 2,750 students. And if we can't do it here, nobody can do it anywhere. So we have an obligation to meet the needs of all of our kids. So today is really, in some ways for me, a call to action. A call to action for you to think about how do we work differently? Because the lives of our kids are at stake, right? Their futures are at stake. Keeping kids marginalized is not okay. We need to get on the margin and bring them in and together. So let's not just talk about justice, but let's challenge each other. Let's push each other. Let's push each other to get better, to think about things in new and different ways that will allow us to get to this idea of equity and excellence for all. And remember also that we're just one part of students' lives, right? We're one part of the ecosystem that they exist in. So as we think about them coming to us, let's build resilience. Let's build in our kids a sense of hope, a sense of betterment. Because we know when they leave us, we don't know what happens in the rest of their ecosystem, but what we can do is we can build ecosystemic resilience for our kids so that when they go back into an ecosystem, when they're not with us, that they can be successful. So I really am going to push us, and I'm going to push us to do the right thing by every single one of our kids so that we can live up to that idea of all meaning all, because this is the right time, this is the right place, and it's the right work. So many of you know that I am from New Mexico, and I've had a chance to think about this a little bit from a New Mexican perspective. And what binds those two pieces of literature, by the way, is this word dream, right? Our kids are dreaming. Our kids are dreaming of a bright future when they come in. So when I think about it from a New Mexico perspective, I hearken back to my experiences in Native American culture and getting to know people within the Native American culture. So these are big ideas, and these are big dreams for us as we think about making sure that we meet every student's needs. So I turned to some of my Native American friends in New Mexico. I called my friend Kara. I called my friend Noda. I talked to an indigenous person from New Mexico as well, and I said, hey, we're going to be talking about dreams. And when I thought about dreams and dreaming, one of the things that I thought about was a dream catcher. And some of you might be familiar with the dream catcher icon. And it is truly a sacred symbol within the Native American culture. And so I spoke to my friends in the Native American community, and I asked permission to be able to use that symbol and that very meaningful symbol for our convocation today. And so I was granted permission by my friends from the Lakota tribe, from the Navajo tribe, and from Santo Domingo. And I want to share with you this idea of the dream catcher. And some of you are familiar with it, but I want to just read to you the legend of the dream catcher, because I think it relates to some of the work that we're doing here today when we think about Behold the Dreamers and Brown Girl Dreaming. So ancient legends about the history and origin of the dream catcher among several Native American tribes, but chiefly through the Ojibwe and Lakota nations. While many cultures find spiders to be creepy and crawly, the Ojibwe people find them to be symbols of protection and comfort. According to the Ojibwe story, a mystical and maternal spider woman served as the spiritual protector for the tribe, especially for young children, kids, and babies. As the Ojibwe people continued to grow and spread out across the land, the spider woman found it difficult to continue to protect and watch over the members of the tribe as they migrated farther and farther away. This is why she created the first dream catcher. Following her example, mothers and grandmothers would recreate the maternal keepsake as a means of mystically protecting their children and families from afar. So what does the dream catcher mean? Sometimes referred to as sacred hoops, Ojibwe dream catchers were traditionally used as talisman to protect sleeping people, usually children, from bad dreams and nightmares. Both Native Americans believe that the night air is filled with dreams, both good and bad. And when hung above the bed in a place where in the morning sunlight can hit it, the dream catcher attracts and catches all sorts of dreams and thoughts into its web. Good dreams pass through them and gently slide down the feathers to comfort the sleepers below. And bad dreams, however, get caught up in its protective net and destroyed, burned up by the light of day. So I share that idea and that dream of the dream catcher because I believe that we are the dream catchers for our kids. And so at this time, I'd like to invite up our 5 building leaders and Kristen Michael, because I want to give them symbolically, on behalf of the school system, an authentic dream catcher. So I had a chance 2 weekends ago to go to the Native American History Museum downtown, and I bought 6 of these to hang in the schools. So these are traditional Native American dream catchers. This one was made by Nathan Boyd, who is Navajo, and I want to give one to each of the school leaders to put up in your buildings so that they can that becomes a representation of what we do here in our schools, and that is us catching dreams. And this is, by the way, a really nice one that is wrapped in leather, and so when the dreams hit it, the bad ones get stuck, and the good ones will travel down the feathers, and we will have good dreams come true in our schools this year. So Paul, there you go. This one is made by Safaria George, who is also Navajo. So Tim. This one was made by Arnold Ebsity, who is also Navajo. So Valerie, thank you. This one was made by Irene Morgan, also from the Navajo tribe. And Kristen Michael's going to represent our central office, where we also will hang one of these to catch the dreams of our kids and also our staff. And this comes from Nathleen Boyd, who is also Navajo. And last but not least, this one is also made by Safaria George, who's Navajo, for here at the high school. So Matt. So this year, as you go out and you do this really important work on behalf of the students that we serve here in the City of Falls Church, I ask you to be a dream catcher and to catch the dreams of all of the kids that we serve, and know that you hold the key to making the dreams of our kids come true. And for that, thank you in advance for your incredible work and for also interrogating yourself and our work together so that we can, as a collective team, build together, because truly, in the end, we are better together. So with that, I will stop. And I think we have a ending video here.
I'm Mr. Carey. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Let's sit down.
Do you mind if I stand?
Does anybody want to be interviewed about their favorite teacher? You tell us an adult or a teacher that's been there for you.
Miss Hollinger.
Miss Hollinger is the best. What makes Miss Hollinger awesome?
Well, she's just there for me mainly, and also she helps me when I'm frustrated. She guides me into things that I don't want to do, but I have to, and
Who is your favorite teacher in Falls Church?
Miss Megan, Miss Vicky.
Miss Megan and Miss Vicky?
Miss Camel.
Miss Camel? And why is she your favorite?
Because she's a camel.
She's a camel? What? That is silly. High five me. Oh. Thanks, Tenzin. See you, bud.
Mr. Kelly,
What makes Mr. Kelly so great?
he just motivates his students and like makes them perform to their best of their ability.
Miss Davis. Well, whenever we'd go to library, it would always just be like so much fun, and she'd always like show us books that we like usually wouldn't pick out.
Mr. Feek, the honors biology teacher, she's awesome. She let me come to her class like every Mustang block to do work.
Mrs. Callan.
And what made her so awesome?
She would help us every day. My favorite teacher is Miss Thacker because she's really nice.
Miss Epstein.
Miss Epstein.
Miss Epstein's always there for me. She's nice and helps me after school with work and
Just couldn't help yourself? Are you excited for the first day of school?
I am incredibly excited for the first day of school. It's been too quiet around here this summer.
Quiet?
Yeah, it's like...
Hello.
Well, the teacher that's been there for me is Miss Bornigal, because she has helped me all the way from the beginning of the school year till the SOLs and until the end of the school year. So she can help me learn what it means to be a student and give me all the materials I need to become a better student.
Who is your favorite teacher and why?
Miss Allen.
Why is Miss Allen your favorite teacher?
Because she helped me find a tutor for reading.
And what happened?
I passed my SOL.
You did. Awesome job. Lucy, ABC's backwards.
I don't.
Hey, you got further than I could. What's your favorite thing about summer?
Not having to do work.
I really liked my third grade teacher, Miss Lauer, because she was really funny and like it felt less like she was like our teacher and more like she was like our friend.
How long would it take you to name the 50 states?
Probably like 5 minutes.
You want to go 5 minutes? All right, you ready to try?
Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, Connecticut, California, Colorado.
California, Colorado, E, there's no E, F, Florida, G, Georgia, H, there's no H, I, Idaho.
There is an H. You know what we're at so far? Gotta be like 30, right? Maybe even 40.
Miss Nguyen.
Miss Nguyen, what makes Miss Nguyen so great?
I mean, she's really funny and relatable.
My favorite teacher is Miss Greer because she shows how much of a nerd she is in the classroom. She's very happy and stuff.
Well, I think that every single teacher in Falls Church adds value to our school system.
Well played. Can somebody help me up?
I want to take just a second to thank our video and Convocation production team from Falls Church City, from FCC TV. Genevieve Lamas. Genevieve, thank you.